everybody.
Hi, friends. Well, from Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up on the show today, Dan, it is our 600th episode.
That is
if you can possibly imagine.
600 weeks of moderately entertaining podcast
Barely
magic.
Entertaining is what I would say.
It gets there. We achieve it on occasion. Every now and then, we actually achieve a full bit of entertainment. So
yeah, indeed.
And we've done it 600 times. So who can argue with that record?
Indeed. So on the second half of the show, we're actually going to be doing something special. We're going to be doing a Q&A with a live streaming audience.
Yeah. So hi to all of you who are streaming with us, and for those of you who are getting this in your usual podcast manner, you'll hear from some of these people later in the show.
Indeed. But first, before we get to everything else, Dan, there's an announcement that we need to make.
That's right. The astute listeners will remember that last year we talked at the conference on death, grief, and belief, which was a wonderful experience for us. We had a great time. We've been asked back. And so if this is something that you are interested in, if you would like to be a part, hearing really smart speakers better than us talk about
but unfortunately also us.
But also us talk about related issues, things, death and dying and grieving and religious trauma in all of that. Please go check it out. deathgriefandbelief.com is the website. If you decide to sign up, if you use the promo code TGIA, you'll get $25 off of your entrance into the conference. Check it out. It's going to be great, and we're going to be hilarious and
always so good.
And then so yeah, please check that out if that's of interest to you. All right. What let's talk about some stories.
We got some stuff that happened this week in the world.
Do some various stories. I like it.
I'm going to start with a story over there in the UK. A young family had a child to name, Dan.
Okay.
And so they went to their local registrar, where I guess these things happen. And they announced that they were going to name their 4-month-old Lucifer. Dan.
Yes, that's exactly what you do.
The registrar was having none of it. She apparently she was bad. She handled it poorly. That's what's going on here.
They don't expect to be thrown into this situation.
No.
The registrars.
This is the dad. He says, "We were really excited to go and get him registered, but the woman looked at us in utter disgust, Dan. She told us
you're naming your kid Lucifer, right? Like what? You knew. You expected this. Don't pretend like you didn't, Dad."
She told us he would never be able to get a job and that teachers wouldn't want to teach him, Dan.
Oh my gosh.
I tried to explain that we are not religious people. And Lucifer in Greek means light bringer and morning.
Shut up. Shut up.
She
you know exactly.
Listen.
You know exactly. I love this. Look, I'm fine with this. You know what I mean? Like Lou or Lucy, I don't know what you call them, but
sure.
Here's the thing. You know full well nobody cares about the Greek translation, morning star or light bringer or whatever it is.
No.
You know what you're doing. You know your reference, obviously you're not Christian because no Christian would do this, but
sure.
You know that's what everybody's going to think of. It's like people who talk about the swastika and they're like, it's actually an Indian symbol of peace. So maybe you should do some research.
Nobody cares anymore. No.
It's not anymore.
She also, she even told us maybe we could name him something else, but refer to him as Lucifer at home. She's trying, Dan. She's really trying to help these people out, right? The dad said, "We were gobsmacked with her behavior." Anytime I get to read a quote that says gobsmacked, kind of makes my day.
That's a happy day. Sure, absolutely.
Let's see. So, here's the deal. And here's what I thought was kind of amazing about this story. And it's process. It's procedural, right? Because in the United States, the registrar would have said no. She would have dug her heels in, and then it would have been a protracted legal battle over this.
It's true.
Right?
It's true. Yeah.
Like
at
even
some
if
point, Clarence Thomas would be opining on this thing.
Instead, she goes into the back office and comes out and is like, "Well, okay."
I spoke to my manager.
Basically.
And,
yeah, basically.
Oh my God.
So there was an official council statement on the issue. The Derbyshire County Council issued this statement. It says, "We apologize if they were offended, but it is the job of our registrars to advise in these matters, as sometimes people are not aware of certain meanings or associations around certain names." It's their
Lord.
job to meddle in names.
Well, I mean,
on.
I know that I read a thing about how like Iceland has a list of approvable names, and you're not allowed to name your kid anything that's not even on that list.
So it has to be Icelandic.
Yeah.
Is the idea?
Yeah.
Really?
So I know that different countries have laws about what you can name your kid. But yeah, apparently, but yes, it does seem very, very, get your thumb out of my business.
Yeah. I want to name my child Lucifer, for Christ's sake, right? Like,
I don't like my baby.
Business.
My baby sucks. And I'm going to name him accordingly.
No, Dan, they played this whole angle of like, we just didn't know. We're not religious, right? Like, it's just a beautiful name. It's like, it has this like Greek meaning. It's beautiful. Yeah. And it's like,
I'm going to do a thing that we've never been able to do before. I'm going to read a joke from our listeners in the moment, which is that one of our listeners wrote, "Did those parents go to the registrar's office straight from Hot Topic?" Which I think is a solid joke. I'm with you. I love it. Good job. All right. I am going to talk. It is Pride Month now. Happy Pride, everybody. And I'm going to talk about a way that the LGBTQ community is once again ruining it for everybody.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dan.
You should be sorry. God, the gays are just ruining it for everybody. You've heard of the hit TV show The Chosen? This is a show about Jesus's life that was sort of crowdfunded, but now it's doing very, very well.
I'm sure it's just beautiful. I'm sure it's, first of all, great source material, right? Like, well, the IP on this is fantastic.
It's the greatest story ever told, Frank. Anyway, yeah, it's about Jesus, and apparently, I haven't watched it, but it's gotten some critical acclaim, even from non-Christian sources. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, they recently released a promotional video about their show that showed some behind the scenes footage, and oopsie daisy, there were about 4 seconds of that 6.5 or 7 minute video that showed a pride flag on set.
Oh, Dan.
Someone on the set of the Jesus show is gay.
Or just supportive.
Yeah. And nobody took it down. Nobody shamed the shit out of them. It's shocking. Shocking, I say. Twitter lit up like a light bulb.
No.
With people demanding answers for why there's a pride flag on the set.
Oh my God.
The Chosen. the show's creator and director, Dallas Jenkins, had this to say. He said, quote, "We've made no secret our cast and crew come from all different beliefs and backgrounds. I don't believe personal workspaces on set are relevant to the content of The Chosen." But went on to say, and this is kind of cute, I like this, "But if someone wants to stop watching a free show because of it, that's their right."
Good for them.
Yeah.
Actually. Because
I was kind of impressed with that.
That's the truth right there, right? Like people need to just start managing themselves once again in this world.
Well,
right? Like,
it's not like the right is the fortunate thing is the right. They're the ones that are against cancel culture, so they definitely won't boycott or do anything. It's not like the slightest provocation and they flip out and say that they'll never eat at Chick-fil-A again because they hired an inclusivity person.
I mean, that's big, Dan.
Oh my God. It's so stupid.
I mean, those sandwiches, Dan.
It's all so dumb. Okay, so we'll see. They say go woke, go broke. We'll see how The Chosen does over the next little while.
All right. Well, okay. Here's a fun one for you, Dan.
Okay.
There's a up there in Maine,
I've heard of it.
The state, right?
Yeah.
There is a school board that does something that like this happens. I don't know like how often it happens, but like this school district leases out space in the school facilities, right? Sort of after hours, right? When the school's not in and the school doesn't need the auditorium or, whatever, they'll let somebody pay a fee and come in, and they have an agreement and it's certain time frames and whatnot. Well, anyway, a local church, the Pines Church in Bangor, Maine, applied.
You Bangor, you brought her.
Great. Applied for a lease at the local high school in Herman. And the school board, now, first of all, I need to back up just a little bit. My source, the article that I'm reading is from christianpost.com. And so there is an angle here. And if you hear any angle coming out, it's because as I'm reading through the story and talking about it, there's a slant
for it.
There is a slant, right, to this article.
It's no less reliable a source than Christian Post. Well,
well, okay. So first of all, the headline for the article says Maine school board denies lease to church after asking about its Christian views on hot button issues. Okay.
That sounds very incendiary.
Apparently the superintendent allegedly asked the minister or whatever from Pines Church about their stances on things like abortion or transgender issues. Let's see. And also like same-sex marriage and that kind of stuff. And of course, actually the article just assumes that you already know how the church answered, right? Which is they don't like those things. And now the whole article is structured around this assumption that and saying things like school board denies lease, right? Now that is technically true, but the school board did not deny them access. They wanted to just do a month-to-month deal, right? But they didn't give the church the 6-month lease they were asking for. We want a 6-month lease. And they're like, no, we're just going to let you go month to month and see how it goes. Right.
Right.
And they're suing the school board and they're acting like they've been like persecuted as Christians.
Like it's Christian persecution. Yeah, so of course.
They found a nonprofit law firm that specializes in religious freedom cases called Advocates for Faith and Freedom. And they had this to say in a statement: public institutions that seek to lease their facilities for revenue should not be able to discriminate based on religious or political conviction. The Herman School Committee has a history of leasing their properties to secular organizations without persecution. Right? We are advocating for fair and equitable treatment under the law. And so I don't know why maybe they do sometimes give out like leases. I don't know. The article doesn't reference that, but they're not saying you cannot use this space. We are denying you access. You are being singled out, right? For being Christian, for being, anti-abortion and anti-trans people and anti-gay marriage. Right.
Oh my gosh.
Like, that's not what happened here. Right.
No, they're just, they are being singled out though for being, anti month to month. And that is unfair.
Anti 6-month lease.
All right. Christian persecution is everywhere, but fortunately there are still miracles to be had. And for one such miracle, I'm going to take us to a small town in Missouri where people are apparently flocking to see something disgusting. I don't know if you heard about this. This was sent in by one of our keen-eyed listeners, so thank you very much. I should have your name handy, but I don't, so you know who you are. Just take credit. Feel good about yourself. Here's what happened. There's a little place called the Benedictines of Mary, Queen of the Apostles. It's a little monastery or nunnery or something. It's in Gower, Minnesota. Missouri. Goodness, I can't get anything right here. Anyway, the Benedictines of Mary, Queen of the Apostles, is about 45 minutes north of Kansas City. And they decided that one of their beloved nuns, Sister Wilhelmina Lancaster, who died in 2019, was to be moved into a place of honor, I guess. So they exhumed her body. And Franklin, it was a miracle. Because
she was alive.
Are you ready for that? No, not quite that miraculous, but there was a miracle. And that miracle is she was not as decomposed as they thought she was going to be. Apparently, when they exhumed her body, they were expecting only bones, but found some flesh, a little bit of flesh in a
really
a reasonably well-preserved nun's habit, which I assume is made of polyester, so it's probably going to be there well after we've all decomposed. I don't know why they were impressed with that.
Okay, wait a second. How long ago did she die?
2019. That's a solid 4 years, man.
I mean, I don't know how quickly was she like in like was she like in a concrete? She was in a coffin surrounded by like one of those concrete things.
No, my understanding it was a coffin in the ground. And it's a very clay-y ground. Clay-y. Okay. Can I make that an adjective?
Sure. Yeah.
And so they were just expecting it to be just jello and bones, but apparently it's not like she wasn't decomposed. She was very visibly decomposing, just less. According to one scientist, it's in a cool. Even though the clay is kind of damp, the coolness of the area and being in a wooden box could very easily just preserve a person for a while. But that doesn't stop the Catholics from thinking that there's literally a miracle afoot, and they've been investigating it. Pilgrims have been coming to visit.
Of course they have.
They have displayed this body, gross, you guys. It's just gross. Don't do this.
I mean, there's nothing there. I mean, the nun's dead, right? But like the poor dear, right? Like she didn't.
Right.
Nobody wants to have their body on display after they're dead. Yeah. Although maybe, I don't know, maybe that
do it for me though.
A strange comfort, like, oh, people will
be able
to see my half decomposed.
Just 4 years after I die, dig me up, display me however I look, and I just want to gross some folks out.
Let's see how decayed you are, Dan.
Yeah, put me do it in October and put me in one of those haunted houses. It'll be fun.
All right. Oh, Dan. Here's one that, oh, God. It just as easily could have come from the United States, right? This one.
Okay.
Over there in India.
That's a bad sign right out the front.
It's all bad. India. They apparently they've been up to no good revising their school curriculum. Curricula, maybe. The new curriculum has been released and certain things have been removed from the curriculum.
Oh, no. Are they allowed to do that?
If you are the National Council of Educational Research and Training, apparently you can. And so they have cut out of the 10th grade curriculum any talk of the periodic table.
Wait, what?
No periodic table. Does not exist. They're no longer taught, or they're no longer going to be taught certain pollution and climate related topics. There are cuts to biology, chemistry, geography, mathematics, physics.
Wow.
And the changes overall, all of the changes, a lot of that I think was 10th grade. Overall, changes affect 11 to 18 year olds, which is about 134 million students because it's India and it's huge. And they're also trimming out, apparently there was a section on Michael Faraday's contribution to the understanding of electricity and magnetism that has been cut out, right? Getting rid of it.
Why? What reason are they giving for any of this?
I believe they may not be saying this, but it reeks of nationalism to me.
Yeah, I'm just trying to.
We didn't come up with this, so therefore we're not going to teach about Michael Faraday and whoever else who may. No, this periodic table thing, this nonsense, it's foreign. Right.
Yeah.
That's what it kind of feels like. And it's also, they're obviously being anti-science here, but they're not just being anti-science. They're also, they've removed chapters on democracy and diversity, about political parties, the sections of the curriculum that discuss current challenges to democracy have been dropped. Yeah. Right.
Okay.
So this is Hindu nationalism. This is a regime that is in control, and they are wanting to make sure that the next generation doesn't know about their options other
the
than
elements.
Them. Yeah.
What I really don't want you to know about is the elements. If you come out of school knowing the word boron, I'm going to be furious. What the fuck? Yeah. That is so messed up. Like, one of the great things about India is that they've always had like some pretty strong STEM stuff. They've always been
That's my
really
perception.
Strong.
Yeah. I mean, definitely, Indians that immigrate to the United States and elsewhere in the world, right? Like it seems like they're coming here for STEM related jobs.
Yeah.
By and large. So
one of our listeners writes, when did Ron DeSantis move to India? Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Narendra DeSantis is there doing their Indian thing.
So that's happening, everybody.
Well, at least we don't have to compete with them anymore. Great. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm gonna stick the landing right here in the fair state of Utah. Just north of our fair city in Salt Lake City is Davis County, Utah, which if you live around here, is the Mormoniest, like the uptightest of Mormonness. Like it's just, they're very, very.
It's a unique breed up there because it has a different flavor from like the Utah County Mormons.
Right.
And
which
from
is to
like
our south.
To the south. And that's where like Provo and BYU and all that are. And a different flavor from the ones that we run into in the city, you know.
Yeah. It's definitely its own flavor.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Very, very conservative, as you could guess. And as is the sort of national trend, which we're all very happy about, banning books is a great thing.
Oh, yeah.
For the conservative side of our spectrum is just super stoked about making sure that children never see anything that is inappropriate.
It's kind of, I've been thinking about taking it up as a hobby, Dan. Like
banning books?
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, just reaching out, writing letters, you know? And like,
I think
I'm towing their line too, Dan. Like I'm.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, Davis County has beat you to the punch on one book.
Oh, okay.
That is being banned for elementary and junior high school.
Okay.
And it's the one we've all been sort of thinking about this whole time. The Bible!
What?
Is being banned from schools, yes, all over Davis County.
First of all, that's amazing. Like, it's amazing. Like, I stayed away from this article. You said you were going to do it. And it was blowing up, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was everywhere. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to let Dan tell me all about this. So this is for real. I know that it happened, but like, oh my God. Like what?
And this came as a result of a community member challenging the book officially. Yeah. And then of course it's easy to challenge this book. There's horrific shit all through the Bible. So it's not hard to point to very specific stuff and be like, well, what about the time when a man was raped by his daughters? That's surely enough. You know, if what's her name has two mommies is too much for you, I think daughter rape is probably enough to get something disqualified.
It's crazy they went along with it. You would think that they would just be like, sorry, you know, this is like, it's exempt, right? Because because we believe it.
Exactly. Since when has the right been afraid at all of hypocrisy? You would think that they would just be like, no, this one stays, and we don't care that it's that you can prove that it's worse than these other ones.
Right.
But apparently not.
Huh.
So there you go. Lots of parents are up in arms, not because they want their kids to read it. Why would they want that? But because it's the Bible and you're not allowed to ban the Lord. So there you go. I guess their plan is working great. That's all I can think of. Everything's going really well for them.
Yeah.
Well, if you would like to comment on this or any of our stories, feel free to write into us. The address is podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442. Stick around. There's more show coming up. Hey, Dan.
Hey.
I've got some audio to play for you, Dan.
Yeah, usually I am the one who tracks down our audio, and then I introduce you to it and everything. Yeah. But this is our 600th episode. Everything's topsy-turvy.
Shaking
We're on
it
our
up.
heads.
Well,
we're backwards.
I thought it'd be fun, Dan, since it is like a special celebratory episode, to do a Patty break, right? Because we used to almost exclusively play Pat Robertson
because he was dropping gems left and right. It was all good all the time. Everything that came out of that man's mouth was podcast gold for us.
Yeah, he was on fire. Well, anyway,
it's too bad he retired. I miss the man, to be perfectly
retired.
honest.
Got too old. Sadly, it happens to the best of us.
By retired, I mean he went to bed.
He's still alive though, which is amazing.
I know.
You looked up how old he is? 90.
He's like 93 or something.
93,
94.
Good Lord. All right.
Yeah.
Well, here we go, Dan. This is Pat Robertson, who 5 years ago was already on the Drag Queen Story Hour beat.
Oh, he was so ahead of his time.
Well, this next story should shock the daylights out of you. You ought to do something about it. It's an outrage. Little teeny children, as young as 2 years old, being exposed to cross-dressers, homosexuals who dress up as women and are called so-called drag queen. You say, well, that's something maybe for some weird television show or something, but no, it's from us, it's a few miles away from this place where I'm sitting right now in the studio. There's a library where they're hosting these events where men are dressed as women, and they've got all kinds of makeup on, and they're men acting like women. And they used to, out in San Francisco, used to call them he-she's. And they're reading books to children. And it's called the Drag Queen Story Hour. Well, you'd better get outraged about this, and many people are, but library officials sat at a recent event in Virginia and said it fits their city's vision of inclusion and diversity. Give me a break.
He was on it, Dan.
Boy.
He was on it.
Oh, he was doing.
He was trying to get people all worked up and outraged.
I didn't realize how ahead of the curve this man was. Oh. He was so ahead of the curve.
Visionary.
I have to break in here. Someone has entered the chat and has warned everyone about Jesus Christ, about not paying attention to us. And I am delighted. And I'm just going to read it. Not all of it. Maybe I'll excerpt it. But I am so happy about this. Thank you to Cheryl, who is on the live stream. Apparently, we haven't banned anybody.
Yeah.
Who
but
in the
we
chat
can,
says,
Cheryl.
Yeah, Cheryl, you better watch it. Who says, to all Christians and Roman Catholics, stay away from this. Do not let your children be lured into this false lies. They get, oh my goodness, Cheryl, please learn some punctuation. It's all caps. It's not punctuated.
She's very angry. She's yelling that, Dan. Is what's going on.
Jesus Christ has existed for over 2,000 years. I also like the distinction between Christians and Roman Catholics. If you're either of those two things, not, yeah.
All right.
Oh my gosh. I think that's delightful. Thanks, Cheryl. Thanks for joining.
Thanks so much.
So we have a voicemail, do we not?
We do indeed, Dan. This is from a listener who's sharing her experience as a Jehovah's Witness.
Hey, Frank and Dan. My name is Kara, and I'm calling regarding the segment you did on the J-Dubs. I grew up as one my whole life, and I was always the black sheep of the family who liked to fade to black. And my sister, who was the most devout of all, even going to New York to become a commuter Bethelite, got disfellowshipped. And that is the day that I drew the line, because she's the most closest and dearest person to me. And so after that, I left for good, and I was very happy when she finally did as well. So when you are disfellowshipped, it breaks up a family. It can divide a family. And that's basically what they do. So you can actually call it a cult, because they do isolate you from those who you love. And going forward, my sister and I have been the most happiest ever since we left. So being a Jehovah's Witness ain't all that it's cracked up to be, especially if you are black and a woman, because it's even harder, because you are set to a different standard than everyone else. And it's even harder for you to abide by the get married kind of deal, because there is no one really for you to marry. So I just wanted to let you know that it's disfellowshipping, and that it is a cruel and unnatural practice. And anyone who even has a doubt should get out, especially if it's going to divide families, mothers, children, whatever. Again, thank you guys so much. I think your program is awesome, and I love listening to you. Keep up the good work. Wish I could hang out with you on the 3rd, but I got to work. SAT testing. Have a great day, guys. Enjoy. And again, if you can't be good, be careful.
Oh, Kara, that was great. It sounds to me Like, this is a success story where them disfellowshipping actually brought family together. And that's wonderful.
Isn't that great?
Oh, Jehovah's Witnesses. It's, I get actually really uptight and angry about the whole shunning thing. It is so
vile,
gross and painful and devious. Just a devious little thing to do.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you got out, Kara. Thank you so much for your sweet words. Well, do we have some folks to thank?
We do indeed, Dan. We've got a couple people over who joined up on Patreon. We have a new teacher by the name of Stu.
Stu!
Thank you, Stu. And a new priest by the name of Mark.
Wow.
So thank you to the both of you.
They're getting their magic powers. Priesthood bestowed upon you. I should have brought like a magic wand for the live stream.
Or whatever the sound would be. It's not.
I like that sound. That is now the official sound of TGI bestowing magic powers on you. You will get. That's how it feels. That's how it sounds.
If you'd like to join these kind people in supporting the show, please go to our website, thankgodimatheist.com, and click on the support tab. For those of you watching, there's also a QR code on the screen that will take you right over to Patreon. So
wow,
that's kind of cool.
We're fancy. We got all kinds of tech happening and whatnot.
Indeed. And as always, Dan, we have our top donor to thank. Our Lord and Savior, Laneager.
More show coming up. Well, Frank, this is a TGIA first. We are having a Q&A as our final segment. This is
live.
We're doing it live.
We don't know what's going to happen, Dan.
So yes, we're going to bring some people into the the chat. Let's talk to Billy Joel T. How are you doing?
Hello.
Hey, Billy.
Good. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. How are you?
Oh, that's awesome. I'm great. Coming to you from Atlanta.
Nice.
Awesome. Welcome. Talk to us. What question do you have for us?
I've been listening to you guys for a while now, but I've always wondered, how did y'all meet originally?
Oh, this is a fun story.
Was there a meet cute or what?
It was a meet not cute. And that Frank, do you want to tell the story or do you want me to take this?
Well, it all starts with a little restaurant called Buca di Beppo.
Oh yeah,
where we were familiar, both. Yes. We were both
a chain
servers.
restaurant where we were both. I had never been a server
were.
Before. Frank had ample experience.
I had
as a
some
server.
experience before, but like Dan worked there for a while, and
who approached who?
Well, we did not exit that experience as friends.
This was how we met. This is not how we became friends. Like Frank was not a fan
when he quit. I was like, oh, that's good. Yeah, he's gone.
I was
that
I
guy's
was a
finally
terrible
gone.
server. I was a bad server. It's true.
I would think you would like really be good with the customers, and you would use some of your acting on them.
I was great with the customers. I wasn't always fantastic at getting food to them, but they loved me.
Yeah.
And actually it was funny because I pissed off a lot of the veteran servers there because I showed up right as the restaurant started a dessert selling competition. Mm-hmm. And it was, I think my memory is that it was like a 2-month long thing where whoever sold the most desserts at the end of a 2-month time span was going to win a big prize. It was like 2 tickets anywhere Southwest Airlines went. It was a big deal. And I crushed everybody. It was so bad that like after the first month, everyone else had given up entirely. No one was even trying anymore. So I was good at selling. I was just bad at serving. Anyway, later we had mutual friends, and we after I had long since departed Buca, Frank and I started, seeing each other at other friends' events and
Friends
whatever.
stuff.
And
Yeah.
That's when we became actually friends.
Yeah.
So.
Well, most great relationships start at, it seems like, as waiters or bartenders at restaurants.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's how you meet folks. It's if you're having trouble out there, friends, getting to know somebody, just quit whatever job you're doing and go start serving. All right. Thanks, man. We appreciate you coming on.
Thanks so much,
Thank
Billy.
you, guys. Keep it up.
So Frank, who do we have next?
We've got Kate. Hey, Kate.
Oh, Kate.
Welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. Congratulations on 600.
Thank
I'm
you.
from Seattle.
From Seattle. Wonderful.
Yes. Been listening a long time. So I've got a very important question for you.
Okay, we're ready.
All right. F. Mary Kill, Jerry Falwell Jr., Franklin Graham, Creflo Dollar.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Ooh.
This is a good one. I like this. I'm on board with this. I don't know who to kill. They really all should be killed.
That's the point.
I'm gonna say, let's see, we got Franklin Graham. Who give me the names again? We got Franklin Graham, Creflo Dollar,
Jerry Falwell Jr. Jerry Falwell Jr.
Oh, okay. I'm fucking Jerry Falwell Jr. all day long. That man is kinky as hell. I'm gonna put his wife in the corner, and
she gets to watch.
Yeah, that's their deal, man. I'm gonna marry Franklin Graham. I'm gonna marry Franklin
He's
Graham.
The marrying type, yeah.
And you know what? The money's good.
Yeah,
the money's good there, and we can just kill Creflo Dollar. He's fine.
Yeah.
I don't.
This is
So
I
classic.
agree. I agree with all of this, Dan.
There you go. That's our assessment. That is the official TGIA policy.
Our
don't
position
at
on
us.
this.
Thank you very much.
All right, Kate. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Kate.
We appreciate it. That was
Thanks, guys.
epic. Well done. Who do we have next?
We have Lara Marini.
It's Jera Lermany.
Oh, this is Jerlermany.
It is our lords and saviors, you guys. They're here. Hi, lords and saviors. How are you guys doing?
Well, savoring the world right now.
Yeah. Well, it's hard work, but somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, we manage.
Nice.
We appreciate it. Do you have a question for us? How are things?
Yeah, I thought of one while we were waiting here, and not to dismiss the big 600 day we're having here. That's awesome. But do we get to look forward to a magical 666 show?
Oh, you know what? We have been talking about that.
Okay, that's got to be bigger than the hundreds episodes.
Absolutely, because let's be clear about this. 600 is just a round number. Who cares about round numbers? 666. Now that's a mark. That is
the mark of the beast.
And here's one thing that I want to say. I will solicit ideas from any of our listeners for something that we should do. I mean, it's a ways off. It's 66
we got
weeks
over
away.
a year to plan on this. Yeah.
But if you guys have any ideas, we're listening.
I mean, you got a special phone number just for it.
I know.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if we've told everybody this, but not only does our phone number have 666 in it, but somehow, magically, through our Lord and Satan, the Thank God I'm Atheist, the TGIA media employee identification number that was issued to us by the U.S. government ends in 666.
Oh my God.
It was fated. Clearly, God spoke.
It's fate.
Lucifer spoke.
Or Lucifer
spoke.
Yeah,
that family, the baby in England spoke.
Yeah. We're gonna have to send that family in England a gift basket or something.
Yeah,
indeed.
Oh, thanks you guys for showing up. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one. Well, that's it for this week's show. Thanks so much. If you would like to write in any questions for us, or if you have any ideas for our 666th episode somewhere in the distant future, feel free to write into us. The address is podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail. Tell us about it. We'd love to hear your voice. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yeah, go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and click the like button. You never know, you might see a live stream there.
And if you'd like to join one of our members-only lounges, go to our website, thankoutimatheist.com/members-only.
Yes. Thanks so much to the Red Rock Hot Club for the use of their fine music.
And thanks to Gordon Johnston for the use of his music.
And thank you so much for tuning in. We sure do appreciate you.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.